Have you ever stopped to wonder what a hit song from, say, 1,000 years ago actually sounds like? Well, today, we're going on a journey to crack an ancient musical code. It's a sound that has secretly shaped almost everything you listen to, from pop music to movie scores. Let's dive in and crack this thing together. So what's the vibe? I mean, what does it really sound like? It's definitely not something you'd hear on the radio. This was created way before guitars, pianos, or, Spotify even existed. The sound is something else entirely. Think mysterious, epic, and totally timeless. It's the kind of sound that just feels like it's floating. It creates this massive atmospheric vibe. Honestly, if you've ever played a game like Halo or watched a movie set in ancient times, you've probably heard its echo. All right, so let's fire up our time machine. We are heading way back to the Middle Ages to find the source of this incredible ancient sound. To really get what this music is all about, we've got to break it down into its core components. We're going to look at the 4 secret ingredients that give Gregorian chant its unique identity. This is where we really crack the code. First up, the music is monophonic. Now, that's a key term, but it's super simple. It just means there is only one single melody. Every single singer in the choir is singing the exact same notes at the exact same time. There are no instruments, no harmony, just the pure, focused power of the human voice. Okay, now compare that to your favorite pop song, right? It's got the lead singer, background vocals, a bass line, drums, keyboards, so many layers. Gregorian chant is the complete opposite. Its power comes from that radical simplicity. The goal was for a whole group of singers to sound like one single powerful voice. All right, ingredient number 2, the language. All of the traditional chants were sung in Latin, and for over 1,000 years, Latin was the universal language of scholars and the church. This meant that monks in Spain, Italy, or Germany could all sing the exact same songs and understand the sacred message. It was kind of like a musical internet for the Middle Ages. And this brings us to a really core philosophy of the music. The whole entire point of the chant was to deliver the sacred text as clearly as possible. The melody was there to make the words feel more important, not to show off. The message was absolutely everything. So our third ingredient is rhythm, or maybe the lack of it. There's no steady beat you can tap your foot to, none at all. The rhythm is described as free, because it follows the natural pulse of the spoken Latin words. It just flows smoothly, kind of like someone speaking calmly, or like the rising and falling of a wave. And the final ingredient in our code, the church modes. So before we had our modern major and minor scales that make songs sound happy or sad, they used these 8 modes. Think of them as different sound filters or mood settings. Some of the modes sound really bright and uplifting, while others are way more somber and mysterious. It gave composers a whole palette of emotions to work with. So we've got this incredible music. But who was actually making it? And maybe more importantly, how did they make a song immortal long before anyone could hit a record button? Well, the creators and the performers were monks living in monasteries. These were communities that were dedicated to prayer, and music was a massive part of their daily life. They were the highly educated guardians of this art form, and they spent countless hours practicing, composing, and, crucially, preserving it. Which, of course, raises a pretty big question. How do you save a song when you can't just hit record or save an MP3 file? For centuries, these melodies were only passed down by memory. If someone forgot, the song could be lost forever. They needed a technology to fix that problem. And the solution they invented was completely revolutionary: writing music down. It was a pretty slow evolution. At first, they just used these little marks as a memory aid. Then someone had the brilliant idea to draw a line to represent a specific note. And this eventually grew into the 4-line staff, which is the direct ancestor of the 5-line staff we all use in music class today. These first symbols were called neumes. They were just little squiggles above the Latin text that reminded the singer of the melody's general shape, if it went up or down. And this simple idea was an absolute game changer. For the first time ever, a piece of music could be shared accurately between different monasteries, cities, and countries without being changed or forgotten. Okay, so now we know how the music was built and how it was saved, but let's talk about its purpose. This was not just entertainment. This was music designed with a very specific mission in mind, and that mission totally shaped how it sounded. One of the most brilliant parts of the whole design was how it worked with the room. Monks sang in these huge stone cathedrals with incredibly high ceilings. This created a massive natural echo or reverb, And the music, with its slow, flowing melodies, was written specifically to work with this effect. The sound would just hang in the air for seconds, making a small group of singers sound absolutely huge and divine. The building itself literally became an instrument. They also used different vocal styles to serve the text. The syllabic style is super simple, one note for every syllable of a word. This keeps the text crystal clear and easy to understand. But for really important words, like Alleluia, they'd switch to the melismatic style, stretching that one single syllable over dozens of beautiful, flowing notes to show joy and importance. And this wasn't just a Sunday morning thing either. Music was woven into the very fabric of daily life in the monastery. The monks would gather to sing up to 8 times a day for prayer services. From early in the morning to late at night, their lives pretty much followed a musical calendar. Okay, so it's 1,000 years old, it was sung by monks, it's in Latin. So what? Why should you care about this today? Well, it turns out this ancient music is kind of hiding in plain sight all around you. Really, the best way to think about it is that Gregorian chant is the musical DNA of pretty much all Western music. It's like the great-grandfather of everything, from classical symphonies to the songs in your favorite playlist. The innovations they came up with laid the groundwork for everything that came after. And that DNA pops up in some surprising places. The very way we write music down on a staff, that comes directly from those monks. The idea of adding a second melody line to a chant, which was totally radical at the time, led directly to harmony. Every choir or a cappella group has its roots in this tradition. And yep, that epic, mysterious sound you hear in movie and video game soundtracks is a direct callback to the sound of Gregorian chant. So, the next time you put on your headphones, just think about it for a second. What ancient ideas, what 1,000-year-old musical DNA is hiding inside your favorite songs? The secret code is everywhere, once you know how to listen for it.